Apple has broken the internet exactly 9 times. Each time they didn't just launch a product, they killed entire industries. Here is every moment that changed everything. 1984. January 24th, 1984, Flint Center. Steve Jobs stood before 3,000 Apple shareholders. He walked to a table with a bag on it. Inside was the Macintosh. IBM computers filled entire rooms and cost $10,000. This one weighed 17 pounds. Jobs unzipped the bag, pulled it out. The screen lit up, no green text, actual pictures, multiple windows you could move around, folders that looked like real folders. You could draw, write with different fonts, cut and paste between programs, all controlled with this weird device called a mouse. Point, click, drag, done. No typing commands. Your mom could use this thing. Then Jobs stepped back. For the first time ever, I'd like to let Macintosh speak for itself. A robotic voice came from the computer.
Hello, I'm Macintosh. It sure is great to get out of that bag.
The auditorium erupted. The voice continued with jokes about IBM, then ended. I'd like to introduce a man who's been like a father to me, Steve Jobs. The Mac had just mocked IBM's room-sized machines. Nobody had ever heard a computer talk, and it only cost $2,495. 70,000 sold in 100 days. Microsoft scrambled to copy it. The Mac changed everything. 1998. May 6, 1998. Steve Jobs pulled a black cloth off a translucent blue computer. The tech world had never seen anything like it. Every computer in 1998 was beige boxes connected by cable spaghetti. This thing looked like candy. One piece, see-through plastic, handle on top like a lunchbox. No floppy drive. Jobs had killed the one thing every computer needed. The entire industry used floppies. Jobs didn't care. He saw the future. USB ports. It looks like it's from another planet, Jobs said. A good planet. A planet with better designers. $1,299. 2 cords. Power and internet. That's it. 3-minute setup. The industry mocked it. Where's the floppy? It's a toy, dead on arrival. Then the pre-orders hit. 150,000 before it even shipped. August 15th launch day. Stores sold out in hours. 278,000 sold in 6 weeks. 800,000 by Christmas. People who'd never owned computers were buying them because they came in colors. Bondi blue, then strawberry, grape, tangerine, lime. Apple stock tripled. Everyone adopted USB. Apple gave computers a personality. 2001. October 23, 2001. Steve Jobs reached into his pocket and pulled out a white device the size of a deck of cards. MP3 players in 2001 were terrible. The good ones held 30 songs. The ones that held more weighed 2 pounds. This thing weighed 6.5 ounces and stored 1,000 songs. A scroll wheel on the front. You spun it with your thumb. White earbuds, 10-hour battery. It looks like nothing else in tech. Clean, white, simple. 10,000 songs in your pocket. That was the pitch. $399. Mac only, no Windows support. The tech world mocked it. $399 for a Mac-only player, dead on arrival. Slashdot called it lame. PC Magazine said the rest of the world could only drool. First 3 months, 125,000 sold. Everyone called it a failure. But Apple kept going. Windows support in 2002. iTunes Music Store in 2003. 99 cents per song, legal downloads. Suddenly the iPod made sense. 2004, 10 million sold. 2007, 100 million. White earbuds became a status symbol. Sony's Walkman died. CD players vanished. Apple changed how the world listened to music. 2007. January 9th, 2007, Macworld. Steve Jobs walked on stage in his signature jeans and black turtleneck. Today we're introducing 3 revolutionary products, he said. The audience leaned forward. A widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, an internet communicator. Jobs kept repeating this, then grinned. These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device, and we are calling it iPhone. The crowd went insane. No keyboard, no stylus, just a 3.5-inch touchscreen. Your finger was the only tool you needed. Pinch to zoom, swipe to scroll. The phone rotated when you turned it sideways. Visual voicemail, see who called without dialing in. Real web browsing, the actual internet, not mobile sites. It ran a version of OS X. $499 for 4 gigabytes, $599 for 8 gigabytes, AT&T exclusive. The phone industry panicked. BlackBerry stock dropped 8%. Nokia held emergency meetings. Microsoft Steve Ballmer laughed. $500? That is the most expensive phone in the world. June 29th launch. Lines around every Apple store. 270,000 sold opening weekend. 1 million in 74 days. BlackBerry died. Nokia died. Apple showed the world what a smartphone should be. 2008. January 15th, 2008, Macworld. Steve Jobs was talking about notebooks. "What is the world's thinnest notebook?" he asked. He walked to the side of the stage and picked up a manila envelope. "It's so thin it even fits inside one of these envelopes we've all seen floating around the office." He opened the envelope and slowly pulled out the MacBook Air. The crowd went wild. 0.16 inches at the front, 0.76 inches at the back. It looked like a wedge. 3 pounds, full-size keyboard, 13.3-inch screen. Most laptops were 2 inches thick and weighed 6 pounds. Jobs had killed the DVD drive. 1 USB port, no Ethernet, no removable battery. Intel shrunk their chips 60% just for Apple. 80 gigabyte hard drive standard, $1,799 starting price. Critics were brutal. Form over function. 1 USB port is insane. No DVD drive, dead on arrival. PC manufacturers called it an expensive executive toy. But executives loved it. The MacBook Air became the airport laptop. Every business traveler wanted one. Soon everyone was chasing thin laptops. The envelope moment became legendary. Thin became the new benchmark for the entire industry. 2010. January 27th, 2010, Yerba Buena Center. Steve Jobs sat in a black leather chair. "We want to kick off 2010 by introducing a truly magical and revolutionary device." Netbooks were garbage, cramped keyboards, terrible screens. Tablets existed. Microsoft had been pushing them since 2001, all failures. Jobs held up a thin slab of glass, 9.7-inch screen, 1/2 inch thick, 1.5 pounds, no keyboard, no stylus, just your fingers. It's so much more intimate than a laptop and so much more capable than a smartphone. He opened the New York Times full page on screen, pinch to zoom, swipe photos, type on a keyboard that appeared and disappeared, 10-hour battery. The tech world mocked it. Just a big iPhone. Nobody needs this. The name iPad became a joke. @iTampon trended. April 3rd launch. 300,000 sold day one. 1 million in 28 days. 15 million by year's end. Netbooks vanished. PC sales started dying. Apple created an industry from nothing. 2011. October 4th, 2011. Apple headquarters. Tim Cook walked on stage, not Steve Jobs. Jobs had resigned 6 weeks earlier due to his health. The iPhone 4S looked identical to the iPhone 4. The crowd was disappointed. Where was the revolution? Then Phil Schiller, Apple's marketing chief, said, "I'd like to introduce you to Siri." "Siri, what's the weather like today?" A woman's voice responded, "It's currently 66 degrees and partly cloudy." The audience stirred. This wasn't voice commands. This was conversation. "Do I need a raincoat?" "It sure looks like rain today." "Move my 12 o'clock meeting to 3:30. "Okay, I moved your meeting." Nobody had ever talked to their phone like a person. Android had voice commands. You memorized exact phrases. This understood context. It made jokes, called you by name. $199. 4 million sold opening weekend, doubled the iPhone 4. The next day, October 5th, Steve Jobs died, age 56. The iPhone 4S became a memorial. 37 million sold that quarter. Google scrambled to build Google Now. Amazon created Alexa. Jobs' final innovation, teaching computers to listen. 2014. September 9th, 2014, Flint Center. Same stage where Jobs unveiled the Mac 30 years earlier. Tim Cook had just announced the iPhone 6. Then he paused. "We have one more thing." The audience erupted. Steve Jobs' famous words. Nobody had heard them since his death 3 years earlier. Cook's wrist lit up. The Apple Watch. Smartwatches in 2014 were garbage. Samsung's Gear, ugly, clunky one-day battery. Pebble looked like a calculator. Nobody wore them. This was different. Rectangular display with curved edges. Digital crown. Zoom, scroll, navigate without covering the screen. Swappable bands. 3 collections including 18-karat gold. Tap someone's wrist from across the world. Send your heartbeat. Activity rings. Apple Pay on your wrist. Kevin Lynch demoed it, made a call, controlled Apple TV. The crowd went wild when he opened a garage door. April 2015 launch. 1 million pre-orders first day. 12 million sold first year. Swiss watch exports collapsed. Fitbit crashed. Apple became the world's largest watch company. The wrist belonged to Apple. 2017. September 12, 2017, Steve Jobs Theater. Tim Cook called it the biggest leap forward since the original iPhone. No home button, just screen, edge to edge. The notch, everyone fixated on it. Your face is your password, said Phil Schiller. Craig Federighi came to demo, looked at the phone, unlocking failed. Tech Twitter exploded, stock price dipped. Federighi grabbed a backup, worked perfectly. Apple explained later, too many people had handled the first phone backstage. The damage was done, the memes were everywhere. $999, first iPhone to break $1,000. Nobody's paying $1,000 for a phone. The notch is hideous. November 3rd launch, sold out in minutes. 12 million units opening weekend. Every Android copied the notch. Samsung killed their fingerprint scanner. Face ID became the future. Banking apps, passport control. Your face was now your identity. 2023. June 5th, 2023, WWDC, Tim Cook. Today marks the beginning of a new era. VR headsets were gaming toys. Meta's Quest. Pixelated, heavy, made you nauseous. Zuckerberg had burned billions on the metaverse. Everyone was laughing at him. The lights dimmed. A film played. People wearing sleek ski goggles. Photos floating in their living room. Virtual screens everywhere. Movies on a 100-foot screen. Apple Vision Pro. 23 million pixels, more than a 4K TV per eye. Your eyes were the controller. Look, pinch your fingers. Done. Your eyes showed through the front, not VR. Spatial computing. Price, $3,499. The crowd went silent. Dead on arrival. Nobody's paying $3,500. Zuckerberg mocked the price. February 2024 launch, sold out in hours. Analysts estimated 200,000 pre-orders. People wore them on planes, in Teslas, walking down streets. Zuckerberg kept mocking it. But every tech company started working on eye tracking. Apple made the metaverse real. They just charged $3,500 for it. Which of these launches do you think made Apple the company it is today? And do you think after Steve Jobs, Apple has lost its innovation? Let me know in the comments.